Hey yo, top of the morning, top of the morning. We are day 4 out here in Medellin, Colombia. Medellin, they call it. I would call it Medellin because that's how it look like when I look at it. I was on social media, so I saw somebody post something that says women are raising a whole generation of sissified boys. And at first thought, I was like, you know what? That's right, because a lot of these dudes out here, a lot of these youngsters, I don't know what to say about them. They got a lot of, female mannerisms. They're real emotional, overly emotional. And so I got to thinking, because I was actually riding, and I got to thinking, I was like, why is that? Like KRS once say, why is that? And it hit me that, why is it that women are raising boys by themselves anyway? That ain't fair. That ain't fair. Because she didn't make the child by herself, so she shouldn't raise the child by herself. And I'm only saying that, I'm not trying to be politically correct or tap into nobody's favoritism category. What I'm trying to say is as men, I think we have to own the fact that if we not around to help raise the boys, and the mom is just raising the boys, of course he's gonna have a lot of emotions like the mom. Of course he may pick up some mannerisms like his mom, because let me say this. My first son, I was a part-time dad, and I won't even call it a part-time dad. I was part-time. you know that one job you have where you just work on 2 hours on Wednesday and 4 hours on Saturdays. And at a time when he was young, I wasn't even doing that. I was all over the United States, running around doing what I was doing, using the weak excuse of I can't take care of him if I can't take care of myself. Just all the little selfish things that I would say to minimize the fact that I wasn't being who I was supposed to be at that time. And we always say, man, that chick, she crazy, or she this, but she was never crazy when we was laying on top of her, or when we was in the back of her, or however we was doing it. She wasn't crazy then. She was real sane then. But then when she has the child and she want you or me or us to be that responsible father, providing that man in his life, now she's crazy because of the way she go about it. And then they may have to go and file child support because you on the other side of town taking care of these other kids with this other girl, and them kids might not even be yours, but you so in love with her, you neglecting your own. And so we use these excuses, because then when they have to go to child support, it's like, oh, she crazy, she this, she that. So I just think a little bit of thought should be put in play before we be having these kids. Are we gonna really take care of it? And you can say what you're gonna say, but at some point in time, you gotta do what you're gonna do. You gotta do what's right. And so with that being said, a lot of these kids are, I call it, for lack of a better term, for lack of a better term, I think it's, I'd be like, she still has her son on the titty. Because a lot of these women, let me say this, women, I think, and I'm no scientist, I'm no doctor, I don't have no statistics to prove nothing I'm saying. It just seems like common sense that I try to use. And that's pretty much what I use all the time to go about what I'm doing. I do some research sometimes when I don't know things, but I don't have to look in a book to tell me that that's hot. Because when I touch it, it's hot. So a baby, you can put a baby's head close to the fire, and when they feel the heat, they're gonna back up. That's just common sense. That's hot, don't touch that. So that's what I try to use, just common sense. So I'm saying that to say that it's common sense to feel like, women, if you don't have a man in your life, because this happens. I know a lot of women that, and I don't tell no woman what to do, but a lot of women substitute the lack of love from a man, a companion, and they translate. I've even heard women say, my son, this is my husband, or this is the man of the house. And I heard a woman one time. I was talking to this woman, and she was like, she was mad. I was like, why you mad? And she was like, cause I told my cousin, don't be having no dudes spend the night at my house when I'm gone. She only doing that cause I'm gone. And I was like, oh, for real? She was like, yeah. And she was like, I was like, well, if you gone, why you mad at her? And she was like, well, what you think, he might steal something? I could get it. You don't want no probably bringing random dudes to your house. That goes without saying, but that ain't the excuse she said. She said, my son ain't used to waking up seeing men in his house. So I was like, I thought that was your house. And she's like, well, you know what I'm saying. I was like, no, I heard what you said. You said your son is not used to waking up seeing men at his house. I'm like, so basically what you're saying is your son. She's like, well, he is the man of the house. And I sat there and I was like, so I didn't go back and forth with it, because with most women, you ain't gonna win no argument, debate, or they gonna change it around to fit what they was really trying to say. But I was like, but she just said her son is the man of the house. So if her son is the man of the house, he 15, but he not paying no bills, he don't change no light bulbs, he's not the maintenance man. So what she's doing is she's raising him to have to be dependent on a woman, because he's dependent on her, and she's saying he's the man of the house. So women, I think when you have a baby by a man and he not there and he not taking care of his child, that's a bad deal. So you need to think, or you need to check a dude's background. If he got 4 kids by 4 other women and he don't take care of them, what make you think he gonna take care of yours? See, I think what women do, women have this built-in arrogance that little thing that they have is better than the one everybody else have. So what? He not taking care of her kids. That's her problem. He gonna take care of mine. Nah, sweetheart, that's who dude is. Dude is the I don't take care of the kids dude. That's who he is. He got 4 kids, 4 or 3 different women, and he don't take care of them. They live in the same city, and then now he has a baby by you, and now he's not taking care of that one. Don't you see the pattern? So, I just think you need to do a little checking a person out a little bit more and observing. Don't be so in love with the male organ that you forget all about, that if I have a baby by this dude, is he gonna take care of this? Because he not taking care of them other kids, so is he gonna take care of this? Now men, hold on, you don't get off the hook. Why aren't you taking care of them kids? Because see, I got to the point as I got older, as I started really understanding what being a parent is, not just being a father, not just having a child, but somebody that a parent. And when you're a parent, because it was times I used to pick my son because, oh, hold on, let me go back to my oldest son. So up until he was like 14, 15, he'd come stay with me a couple summers because I wasn't living in the city at this time. I wasn't living in the state at this time. We were living in different states. So a couple of summers he came to stay with me. I'd send clothes for school, money sometimes. And sometimes when his mom would call me and she'd be reading me the riot act, I knew down in my heart that she was telling the truth. So I wouldn't even combat it. I would sit there and listen. And then my youngest son, mom, I was with her at the time, she'd probably just be looking at me on the phone, not saying that, like wondering what was going on. And I had to just take everything she was saying. Now, of course, she was going a little overboard with her, with what she was saying, but I had to let her get that off. I wasn't being who I was supposed to be. He got to be 15. She sent him to live with me. Our relationship was always a little strained as he got older, because it was a built-in built-in feeling to the fact that, okay, I'm taking care, like I'm in the car rider line to pick up my youngest son, but I wasn't in the car rider line to get him. I wasn't at the teacher-parent conference for him, because, like I said, I was immature. By the time I had my second son, I was a little more mature, and I was a little more. Now there was circumstances that played into that, but I'm not even going to use none of those as no excuses. I'm going to say that at 21, when I had my first son, I was immature. I was still running around, wanting to go to the clubs, wanting to chase women, wanting to try to chase the cheddar. It led me all over the country, going to this state, doing this, doing that. And so I wasn't there. I wasn't at the basketball games, the baseball games. So I understood that. So as I got older, when I had my second son, I learned from those experiences and I tried to do better. So as I got started, once I started realizing what it really required to be a parent, I started having less respect for dudes that wasn't being parents, because I was like, oh, so he don't love his kids like I love mine, because I started seeing that I'd do anything for my sons. Like, if I had my youngest son, jump in the car after school, because he never ate the school lunch. That's just not what he did. He'd jump in the car, Dad, I'm hungry. And there was times I was struggling. I might got $10 to my name in my pocket. I got to go in the gas tank. And he'd say at the time, I want to go to McDonald's. So I'd go get him a Happy Meal. Now I'm broke. And I'm hungry too a little bit. I'm hoping to God he don't eat all his food and I knock off the back end. No. Dude would smash everything. And I'm looking like, man, he ain't leave a fry in that joint for me. You know what I'm saying? So once I started seeing that I would do anything, I would run in front of a bus to knock a child out the way. And I might get hit because instincts just kick in when you're a parent. When you're a parent, it don't just mean you're a parent to your child. It means you feel parentness, even if that's, I don't even know if that's a word, but you feel parentness for all kids. So your instincts just will tell you, will feed a child. I will, that child that's hungry. I don't even know this child, but he's hungry. It's a child. Knock it off. So men, you can't be mad at these women. If you feel like she not raising your son the right way, why you not there to help? Ask yourself that question, and you can say, well, she crazy. Yeah, dude, she's crazy. She had a baby by you. She wants you to help her take care of it. You not helping her take care of it. You don't want her to go to child support. You want her to just live with the fact that you riding fresh car, Gucci, Louis, running to the clubs, got all this popping on social media. You doing all of this and all that. Meanwhile, she's over here having to do everything she can to provide for her child that you help produce, but you're not helping to take care of. So now she's clingy to that child, and now she's treating that child, she's oversensitive to him, she's over emotional to him, and that's part of your fault. You can't be mad at her. You just gotta maybe go sit down with her and y'all gotta communicate this out and say, look, I wanna do better. You might have to eat some of that stuff she's saying. You might have to accept some of that stuff that she's saying to you. If you left her, or if y'all, however it was. Now, every situation not the same. So everybody has their own story. I'm just talking about in general, because you don't have to get along with the woman to still be a parent to your child. Let's let the record state that. You don't have to get along with the mama to be a parent. Now y'all have to have some kind of communication. That has to happen. But nigga, you got communication with your probation officer, and he telling you can't go out the state, you can't do this, you can't do that. Okay, then you got communication with your boss. You come to work, you gonna make sure you don't come to work late so you don't get fired. So don't make up the excuses. Don't make up the excuses. If you're not helping take care of your child, you're wrong. Period. Women, if you're making it hard because you're bitter for this man to take care of his child, you're wrong. Okay? Let's think about the child. We don't want to raise overly sensitive men. That's not what we want men to do, be overly sensitive. That's why a lot of these youngsters out here, they don't have no pride in them to have a problem with a dude, because combativeness is just a man's nature, right? As growing up, as boys, we trying to outdo each other in sports, outdo each other in this, so we may clash. I had fights with dudes I never had a problem with. That's just a pride thing. That's just this male testosterone where, you challenge people. That's been going on through the history of time. But we did this. We put these things up, okay? But nowadays, youngsters is telling you off the top, I'm not doing no fight. They doing this. They pulling out the blick. Because they don't have that, they don't know. See, it was times when we had fights, the OGs, and OGs, we not gonna let ourselves off the hook either. So it was times when we used to hang at the boys club, and I had a problem with you, you had a problem with me, or whatever it was. They'd be like, huh, y'all go over in the park, box it out, okay? And they'd make sure don't nobody jump. They make sure, as the East Coast dude would say, they make sure we shoot the fair one. You know, we ain't no jumping. If you get knocked down and he get on top of you and it look like he about to, do you real bad, they pull him off, okay? And then at the end, they'd even be like, okay, now y'all fought. Now, he ain't no punk, Now, shake hands and, then you going about your way, he going about his way. And for the next few days, you mad at him, but then as time go by, oh, okay, y'all cordial. As time go by, all that was a prove a point moment to you that you not scared you'll fight. A prove a point moment to him, and I'm not scared of you, I'll fight you. And so that's how we solved a lot of problems. These days, I don't know if it's the movies, I don't know if it's the music, I don't know if it's society, I don't know if it's the lack of parenting, or if it's a combination of a lot of things that have these young men out here, they don't want to fight. Some of these dudes are 24, 25, 26. They've never had a fight in their life. And they'll tell you, I don't fight. Why? Why is that? Young dude, why are you scared to have a fight? Why are you scared to have a fight? I had a lot of fights. First of all, I was small, I was black, and I was black before black was in. It wasn't fashionable to be black when I was black. So I had to hear all the black dog jokes and all of that. So, it got to the point, I had two older brothers. So I grew up wrestling with my brothers, using me as the wrestling mannequin all the time. And we'd sit and watch wrestling. And then as soon as wrestling go off, they grab it on me to come off the top bunk and all of that old type of stuff. So, I was a little tough. And so I thought I was a little tough. And so fighting my bigger brothers all the time, it was nothing for me to, fight. So, but by the time I got 15, 16, I kind of think, some girl that told me I'm halfway cute, so I think I'm fly now. I don't got time to be fighting, but I will. It never occurred to me that if a dude got a problem with me, I'm finna go get a gun to kill him. It just wasn't that serious. I had fights with dudes, and I'm from East Palo Alto, California, East Menlo Park, East Palo Alto. We have fights all the time, and you're not gonna stop going to the boys club. You're not gonna stop going to Kelly Park. You're not gonna stop going to the house party because the dude you had a fight was there. He know that if he wanted you a fight, the bully don't want to fight. The bully want a bully. So the first time you fight the bully, you don't never gotta have a problem with the bully no more. I'm telling you that now. So if you scared, you in school, you scared, you don't have to have this resentment that you'll kill somebody for him to leave you alone. If you scared of the bully, guess what? When the bully run up on you, the bully on you, just fight him. He might get you. Your jaw might hurt a little bit, might bust your lip. All those things heal. You pull out a gun and shoot a dude, kill him, wound him, there is no healing from that. And you're probably going to jail. So now when a simple fight could have got it out the way. So now let's go back to this parenting thing between the men and the women. Men, you cannot be mad at these women if you feel like they not parenting your son the way that you want them to, because they're not supposed to be doing that alone. There's thousands of men that's not with their child's mother that are help co-parenting. Salute to y'all, salute, because that's what like I said, you don't have to stay in a relationship that's not good to raise. I hear dudes say it all the time, man, I'm only with her to raise, so I don't want to leave my child. That's partly true, but then if the child is seeing a toxic relationship, is that good? You'd rather the child see you over here doing your thing happy, him over here doing his thing happy, and then there's a happy medium. He know he go over here with mom, he get love, he go over here with daddy, get love. They both love him. That's all they want. That's all that every child wants to know, is that they mom love them, they dad love them. They mom got their best interests at heart, they dad got their best interests at heart. Most kids would like to see their mom and dad together, but sir, that ain't nothing they can deal with. That ain't nothing that they can make happen. So men, you can't do. You put the post up saying that it's sissified. These women are raising a sissified generation. Did you wonder why that is? Did you wonder why these boys are sissified? Did you wonder that why are women raising these sons by themselves. Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? Because you're not around. And I don't mean you in general, I mean specific, I mean you in general. You're not around. I know, I was there before. I wasn't around. Good thing my son's mom married a good dude, and he was a good male figure, and then once I got in my son's life, I was a little older. I was starting to try to be what I thought try to set examples of what I thought I wanted my kids to be, but you can't blame the woman if she's not raising him to be commando like you want him to be. She don't know how to be commando. You claim you know how to be commando. So if you want your son to walk with his head up and his chest out and be prideful of who he is and have respect and have dignity and not be sissified, then participate, playboy. Own that. Get in there. Get in the ring and box. You know what I mean? Get in the ring and box with that situation. I know parenting ain't easy. Nobody said that's why we used to run from it. Because it wasn't easy to stop what you're doing and go sit in a car rider line for 30 minutes to pick up your son when you'd rather be over here doing this. But she got to do it. But then you get mad if she go get this other dude and he start doing it. Now you got attitude. Now see, because we be wanting it both ways sometimes. We don't want you, but we don't want somebody else to have it. And vice versa. Women, you don't want him, but you don't want nobody else to have it. And that ain't right. That's not right. That's wrong. No matter how you slice it, that's wrong. If you don't want that other person, you can't be mad because somebody else do want that other person. You understand what I'm saying? That it can't go both ways. You don't get it both ways. So if you have a baby and it don't work out, the situation don't work out, and if he has to go his way or she has to go her way, you still can come together to raise the kids. The kids don't have to suffer and be without one person. Yeah, they may live with dad or they may live with mom, but that don't mean that they don't never see the other person. And so if you want your son not to be sissified, because I agree. Now let me go back to the original comment, the post. I agree. It is a lot. It's this generation of like when we was coming up, we had to cut grass. We had to do the things that some of these kids have never done. Some of these kids, it's a different time. I do understand that. It's a different time. So these kids can't do some of the things that we did, just like we couldn't do some of the things that the generation before us could do, and so on and so on. So I get it, but when you at 3 years old give a child a tablet, and now you want the tablet to raise the child, by the time he's 13, what do he know? He know what the tablet taught him. What the tablet teach him? Did the tablet teach him that some of the things that we think are not right, do he think that those things are good, acceptable? Does he think that it's acceptable to get mad and kill somebody, use his rage to kill? Do he think it's acceptable to look at another man and say, I'm attracted to him? And if that's what you do, that's what you do. So don't hit me with don't bash me with that one. I'm saying if that's what you do, that's what you do. I'm just saying, if you're the parent and you don't think that's acceptable, you can't be mad if you wasn't there to try to guide him the way you want him to go. Men, women, you can't be mad. But if you participate and it don't go the way you want it to go, because there's no perfect way to raise a child. Some of the worst kids come from a 2-parent home where the mom where financially they set. Some of the worst kids come from those upbringings. Some of the best kids come from the broken homes. Do you ever walk down the street and seen that weeds growing up through the concrete? How did that happen? How did that happen? How did the weeds grow through? How did the grass grow through the concrete? So I'm saying that as in relevance to sometimes bad, pressure makes diamonds. Sometimes bad situations, people come up through that. And when they do come up through that, that's why we always boast that we from the hood. Because we feel like if I grew up in the hood where it was hard And now I can make it anywhere because I'm already from where it was hard at. And so that's cool. But then we don't want our kids to grow up in the hood, and that's cool. We want better for them. But some of those things that made us who we are, we take away from them. I used to have to get up Saturday mornings before I go to any baseball game, football game, or basketball game. I had to make sure that house was cleaned up, that bathroom was cleaned up, that grass was cut if it was my turn to do it. Yeah, we had to do all of that. These days, these kids, dads. Now, dads, let's go to you dads. Sometimes these dads, we make it bad too because we don't want our kids to have to cut the grass. I grew up cutting the grass. I don't want my son cutting the grass. That's cool. Don't let your son cut the grass. But I'm not going to I wasn't going to cut the grass. I mean, I didn't have no problem with it because I was raised cut the grass. But once my son got older, dude, you got to cut that grass. I'm not going to pay nobody to cut the grass when I got you. I feed you, I clothe you, I house you. You gonna do some of these responsible things around the house. And anybody say that's torture, then that's on you. My kids was gonna wash dishes. I had to wash dishes. My kids was gonna take the garbage out. I had to take the garbage out. I know some situations where these kids don't do none of that. And then the dads run around, you putting them in sports because you wasn't no good in sports. You trying to live vicariously through your son. So you trying to do this AAU basketball, which is cool because I did that too. However, I only did it because my son wanted to play. See, I didn't shove it down my son's throat. I did it because my son wanted to play basketball. And so I'm not getting ready to make it cushiony for you because even with that, it's a learning experience. These days, you take your son and put him on this team. If he don't get no run over there, you take him and put him over this team, and then he don't get no run over there, you take him and put him, and it's always the coach's fault. Have you ever just thought that maybe he's not that good? Maybe basketball is not for him. Maybe sports is not for him. Maybe he'd make a good cook. Because if you a parent and you raising your child and you observing, you know what they gravitate to. And so if your kids gravitate to some of the things that you might not have wanted him to gravitate to, but you steady trying to put him over here what you like, then that ain't gonna probably work. You understand? That ain't gonna probably work. These days, if I had another small child, I'd be encouraging my kids to get into coding because that's where the world's going. Coding, C-O-D-I-N-G. C-O-D-I-N-G, coding. Yeah, and I would have my child into coding. Everything's computerized. Everything's technological. So I would have my child doing that. If, since they on the computer and you gave them a tablet at 2, you gave them a tablet at 6 months. So they might as well learn how to fix the tablet. They might as well learn how to work the tablet, create off the tablet. They might as well. You understand what I'm saying? So once again, we're not going to get into, because I got a whole bunch of topics I could hit off of this, because that whole male trying to make your son be a basketball star thing, that's a whole nother conversation. We're not going to get into that. Let's just go back to the original post of women are raising a whole sissified generation of boys. Stop that. Unless you actually try to partake in that, and you have to wonder, why is she raising the son by herself? That's the question you got to answer, and that's the problem you got to fix. You got to fix that. So don't run around getting mad if your son is not who you think he should be or should have been if you wasn't there. You understand what I'm saying? Stop taking care of these other kids that don't even belong to you over the kids that don't belong to you. And women, if you have a baby by a man and you say he can't bring his kids around, then dude, that ain't the woman you want, because a real woman want a real man. A real woman want a real man, whether them kids are by her or not. You understand what I'm saying? I know women that treat his kids just like she treat her kids. She discipline them just like she do hers. She give them things just like she do hers. So if you got a woman that's running around talking about, don't bring them kids over here, but they your kids, and you going for that, shame on you, for shame. That's what we say we young. For shame on you, playboy. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And then women, if that's the kind of man you want, the kind of man that'll take care of your kids but not his own kids, for shame on you, baby. for. Shame on you. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm out here in Medellin. I got a couple things we finna get out here, dude. You look at the backdrop. Ooh-wee. We out here in Medellin, Colombia. You know what I'm saying? I'm your boy So Busy. This is another Boss Talk 94303, sponsored by Stay Busy Apparel. I holla. Boss Talk. That's what we're doing over here. Hey, if you've been liking the content you've been watching on Boss Talk 94303, hit that like and that subscribe button, man, so we keep bringing this stuff to you every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Sponsored by Stay Busy Apparel.